Good evening. New South Wales has recorded 13,524 new COVID cases and 52 deaths in the 24 hours to 8 p.m. last night, with 2,663 people in hospital and 182 in ICU. Authorities today confirmed that a new sub-variant of Omicron known as BA.2 has been detected, with Chief Health Officer Kerry Chan telling reporters that 4 sequences have been identified as BA.2. 94% of people aged 16 and over have now had 2 doses of a COVID vaccine, and 38.8% of people have had a third vaccine dose. New South Wales Health saying that includes both immunocompromised people who have received a third dose and all people aged 18 and over who have received a booster. Meanwhile, the other big story tonight, celebrations continuing following Ash Barty's Australian Open win. The world number one was 5-1 down in the second set, but came back to defeat American Danielle Collins 6-3, 7-6. She is the first Australian to win the women's singles at their home Grand Slam since Chris O'Neill in 1978. That was 44 years ago. Came after her Wimbledon win in July that saw her achieve a childhood dream. Overseas now, thousands have protested in the Canadian capital of Ottawa against COVID vaccine mandates in the country. Reuters reports that the so-called Freedom Convoy started out as a rally of truckers who oppose vaccine requirements for cross-border drivers, but then turned into a protest against COVID restrictions in the country. CBC News reports that PM Justin Trudeau and his family have left their home in Ottawa for a secret location amid security concerns, while there have also been reports here at home that Australian truck drivers may go to Canberra to protest restrictions here. Well, between COVID and the simmering conflict in Ukraine, chances are you've forgotten all about the military coup in Myanmar. At least that's how the country feels 1 year since the junta seized control, detaining its elected leaders and initiating a draconian crackdown on dissent. 11,000 arrests and 1,500 deaths later, there remains no end in sight, with no plan for decisive action from the international community. But Myanmar's tortured citizens are refusing to go quietly in the night. Chief reporter Connor F4K looks at how the country is faring with Tuesday marking 1 year under military control.
A little girl grieving for her grandpa, who thought he would be spared and stayed when the military arrived in their village. Old or young, age affords no protection. He was tied to a plum tree, tortured, a tactic central to the military's maintenance of power as the coup stretches into its second year. February 1, 2021, hours before the country's new parliament was set to convene, the junta rounds up lawmakers, detaining Myanmar's elected leader, Aung San Suu Kyi. Her National League for Democracy party had won the November election by a landslide, but the junta-backed opposition claimed that the election had been fixed. This is the moment the military launched their unprecedented takeover. The resistance that followed was fierce and daring. According to the UN, 1,500 people have been killed, among them protesters, journalists, children. There have been 11,000 arrests as part of the military's draconian crackdown on dissent, which shows no sign of abating. Revolutionary forces have called for citizens to close business and stay home on the first anniversary of the coup. Life in prison is the punishment for those who promote or take part in this so-called silent strike, the military has warned. Other forms of protest, including honking car horns and banging pots and pans, will see you charged for treason or under an anti-terror law. The UN says the violence is escalating as the military resorts to scorched earth tactics, with arbitrary arrests, airstrikes, armed clashes, village burnings, and massacres. The military is killing some children and recruiting others. Hundreds of thousands of people have been displaced. Safety, surety, and food is in short supply, forcing thousands to flee to neighbouring Thailand and India, but the conditions in refugee camps are poor, leaving some to camp out in tents along this river bordering Thailand. Thailand has sent aid, but the consensus from Myanmar citizens and international NGOs is that wider action is lacking. With China and Russia refusing to cut off weapons funding and diplomatic ties with the military junta, there is a sense of abandoned hope around the salvation of international action. Conflicts in Ethiopia, Yemen, Ukraine have left the human rights abuses in Myanmar jostling for attention. A total internet shutdown silencing citizens, protesters, journalists on the ground. The trickle of information that once came out of Myanmar is now a drip. How to possibly report or make policy from scarce, unverified accounts and video. 6 NGOs have written to Australia's Foreign Minister demanding targeted sanctions. 1 year on, and it could be another before democracy, normality, is returned. The junta chief promising a multi-party general election in August 2023. Connor Alforque, 6 News.
And of course, for more on how the coup unfolded, check out our special report available on our YouTube channel right now. And now is Ivan and Melly with what's coming up later tonight on WAMN News.
Thanks, Leo. Tonight on WAMN News, protests brewing at WA's border as regional communities forced to make a return trip down under. A WAMN News exclusive.
COVID rules in WA to face dramatic changes over definitions with the scrapping of casual contacts.
High hopes One Nation's Paul Farling confident of party success as he nominates for the Senate at a federal election.
Chinese New Year celebrations as the Year of the Tiger approaches, plus Dr. Andrew Miller's comment. Join us tonight on WAMN News' Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Alright, thanks both Ivan and Melly there. Now to tomorrow's forecast right across the country. Brisbane, rain, 31 degrees the top there, 27 in Sydney, 25 degrees in Canberra, partly cloudy, 31 in Melbourne, 27 in Hobart, getting up to a sunny top of 33 in Adelaide, 29 showers expected in Alice Springs, 33 in Perth, and in Darwin, a warm top of thunderstorms as well of 29. And just before we go, just a quick note that this Tuesday we'll have a new edition of Fact Check where we'll basically analyse, like we do in our articles on our website, but we'll go more in depth. This one is something you don't want to miss. It's regarding this claim that's been going around that you may have seen, that of the people in the federal cabinet, 13 of them are Pentecostals. Now, is that true? Where did this claim come from? All that coming up Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And that is 6 News for this Sunday evening. You can stay up to date with the latest headlines by heading to our website, 6newsau.com, and by following us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Lid. Just search 6 News AU to find us. I'm Leonardo Puglisi. Thanks for your company.